week 9 recap, doing it a little early, trying to stay on top of things. Got a little Jersey recap day, rocking the brotherly love Tyrese Maxey and Tyrell. What do you got going on there?
We are repping an old school D'Angelo Russell. This is
Absolute
from
Laker legend.
when he first came to the Lake Show. This is when he ratted out Nick Young, Swaggy P, for cheating on his girl. Yeah, so I was a big D Russ guy, ice in the veins when he first came through, like first, second years, and then we decided to ship him off, and now he's back, swaggier than ever. So yeah, repping it. All my jerseys are packed up into a box, so I could not rep my Latrell Sprewell like I usually do.
All right, so getting started. We're currently 0 for 7 on our bets, and I will not have it. And definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And every recap, we end with what we think is going to be an absolute lock. And none of those doors have been locked. But we're leading off with it today, mixing it up, shaking the snow globe, cooked up a winner. We are heavily going in on the AFC North with the Bengals money line over the Texans, the Ravens money line over the Browns, the Steelers money line over the Packers, and then to sprinkle something in there, the Cowboys are a 16-point favorite against the Giants, and we're taking them at 6.5, just a touchdown to boost it up a little bit. Easy lock there. So we're mixing it up and guaranteed winner. So let's get some Wildcat Nation juju and everyone ride this free money. Free
It's
$40 for
gotta
everyone.
gotta be a dub. Gotta have it.
All right, so getting into the last week recap. Starting off, lost to George. I know we didn't have any shotgun thing on the side, but I feel like we've done it in years past, so I'll send a shotgun snap out. This one is just, I feel like, a classic fantasy, gets you rooting for teams you wouldn't normally root for. Dolphins fan, love them. Kind of indifferent on the Chargers. I was a big Chargers fan last night, and man, they got the win, but it was disappointing watching their defense get all of the points and Justin Herbert do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I think it's wild to look at Herbert, like 136 yards, but they put up 27 points. And personally, I don't know if you can tell, I'm sick as fuck. Called out of work the last 2 days, pretty chill. So I did not make it up for the game, but I was checking in on fantasy every time I rolled over, and I saw the Chargers at 21 points at one point, and I'm like, there's no way they get seven more. Like, the Jets will do something. And then I wake up to all the texts, and I was like, holy fuck, like I almost lost. So it's tough to see just Herbert not throwing up numbers for you, because I think the math was mathing. I thought that George was really fucking scared that you were putting up 62 points between Herbert and Eckler, and it just did not happen. But yeah, you were a big Chargers fan last night, and I don't know what's up with Bijan Robinson, my guy. I feel like you go heavy on
Honestly,
him on the bets, and
I have
just the
been so high on Bijan, and this is just the point where I'm starting to be like, uh-oh, this guy might not have been worth a first-round pick. And there's a point mid-season where I think Paul offered straight-up Bijan for Tyreek Hill, and I'm a Dolphins fan, and it's tough. The thing about Bijan is when I drafted him, he has unbelievable Week 3 matchups. It's like the Bears, I think the Bucks, and it's some other bad team. Maybe it's like the Ram. I don't know. I love those matchups, and so I'm still like tentative to move him, but I'm just glad in the loss to George that it wasn't death by Michael Pittman Jr. because I feel like every trade negotiation leads off with that. So like me, if he just torched me, I'd be like, I might have to bite on one of these. But
Well, honestly, it's funny that you say that, because we could talk about it right now. The commish has made moves,
yes,
and one of those players being Michael Pittman Jr. I can talk from my personal experience as well. It is the lead every single time. He's like, how about Michael Pittman Jr. plus, and then he throws in seven terrible players. What a trade from the commish, though. I think this boosts his fucking team like crazy. I think you get rid of a Tony Pollard that's been underperforming, and hey, maybe he comes out and renovated stable over to Bellis and he balls out. But I mean, to get Pacheco, Cooper Cup, and then fill his void of forearm surgery. What's his face? Dallas Goddard. He gets Dalton Schultz too, who is definitely not a slouch. I mean, Stroud to be an American can speak from his experience. He slings, so Schultz might see a little uptick, and I think this is a phenomenal trade for the commish, making a big playoff push here at 6-3.
It was Pacheco was in that trade too.
Pacheco's in that trade, and
I
he gave up
so I
Tony
think
Pollard,
what's
Michael Pittman, and Eagles defense, and then Cade Otton as a little sprinkle. But like,
so
I love this trade for George.
I think the Eagles D have death row, so that's like I think a good get off of them quick. Like I was kind of looking at the Cowboys and the Steelers, and like, do they have good matchups rest of the year? But what's interesting is between Pollard and Pacheco, you would think that Pollard would be the guy, absolutely, like the first round pick, no question. But in reality, this year Pacheco has outscored him. And then on the other side, you're like Cooper Cup, no brainer. Obviously, I'd take him over Michael Pittman Jr. And I know he's been injured in the beginning, but they had a tough week against the Cowboys with Stafford, and then they Stafford's out and they didn't score too much here. So it's kind of like an inversion of the guy you'd think would be better versus the guy that is producing, and they just
It's the
swapped
classic name
the
game. It's the name game. Like
yeah.
it's
Bellis
I
got
guess
the
that's
running back name and gave up the wide receiver name, and George got the wide receiver name and gave up the running back name.
That's definitely fair. This is like the AJ Green effect for Matty Fuller. You see the name, you're like Cooper Cup, holy fuck. But I do get that, and also, this relieves the stress that the managers have of when you're watching a Rams game, which who the fuck watches Rams games? But Bellis is probably like performing surgery, has like a fucking screen up with red zone, and he's just dialed into the Rams, and he's like Cooper Cup, Puka Nakua, Cooper Cup, Puka Nakua. Now he can just dial in on Puka, and he's like, fuck Cooper Cup, I don't want to see him anymore. So I do get that too. He moved him. It's a good move. I guess it's a good move both sides, but the namesake, like, it just looks so good for Kamish.
Yeah, agreed, and we'll have to see how it shapes out. Next up, we had tough week for Fuller. I think his worst performance of the year against VJ, who had McCaffrey on bye. It's kind of actually both guys had their top running back stud on bye with Etienne on bye with Fuller, but yeah, his boys didn't come to play. It's tough when your only position player putting up 10 is Dalton Kincaid.
Dude, somebody said it, bro, but like, you're a fucking genius and you cannot pronounce these people's names, and it is so
What is it?
funny.
Sin
You just said
Sinbad?
you just said Dalton Kincaid, bro.
How do you pronounce
Dalton.
it? Dalton?
You're killing me. And what was the other one you just said too? You just fucked somebody else up. Anyway, that is just so fucking funny to me. Um Anyway,
Barbarian?
Dalton Kincaid had a good week for Fuller. I know I talked to Fuller, and he has so much trade regret. It's unbelievable. Like, he's sitting there. He probably went to bed just like spinning in his head, looking at the numbers 87 in a Cowboys uniform. Like, Jake Ferguson would have brought me the chip. I'd make the playoffs with Jake Ferguson. Like, he doesn't even give a fuck about Jahmyr Gibbs. He's worried about this like scrub tight end that the Cowboys have. Listen, I'm a Cowboys guy. I have watched every game this year, despite Sunday Ticket trying to fuck us this week. I hate capitalistic America. This is some bullshit. Anyway, yeah, I found a hack. I got in. I watched it. I didn't pay for Sunday Ticket. Fuck you guys.
Nice.
Anyway, he's not like the guy. He's got 2 good weeks. He put up 12 and 18 the last 2 weeks. I mean, he's got a couple of touchdowns, and if he doesn't score a touchdown, he scores 2 points. Fuller, take a deep breath. You're in good shape. You got Dalton Kincaid, as Romeo would say. It's a rough one. I thought that this trade was going to be good for you going into this bye week, but Henderson didn't perform. James Cook did not perform. Even if they both did, though, I don't know if you're pulling off the dub. Like, you just didn't get production from your own guys. Pickens 0.9, Waddle 6.9. Like, it just wasn't a good week for you. So just take the loss, move forward. Let's get rolling for the playoffs, baby.
Next up, the shot heard around the world. Barry's team drastically underperforming. I think that's one of the tough things where when you're projected for 120 and then you kind of land on 110, it's like I would have been happy with 110 this week. uh, but kind of tough, a little bit of a letdown from Barry. And Sean, CJ Stroud, whoa, he is looking like a guy. We got the Taysom Hill pickup too. Man slinging. John's team's looking
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, the Taysom Hill thing, man. I know VJ's been on this for years, and Sean was also on it for years to get him banned from that tight end position. But it is what it is. There's some weeks where even with him at tight end, he only puts up 2 points because he doesn't throw any tutters. But some days you're gonna get a big performance from him. So 49 from Stroud and 18 from Taysom Hill is a pretty good fucking week. I think what you're saying about the projections, it's like tough to be expected to put up 130 and then you throw up 110. And again, like some people are like George would be like 111. I outperformed, baby. I'm
Yeah.
good. That's a guaranteed W. But I mean, just a tough one. But Stroud to be an American, man. Great change of name.
Next up, we had Billy moving into that sixth seed spot with me over Paul, and I guess this one really, no matter who won this one, they would have moved up with me getting the loss. But just in general, wild how the week shook out, where the top stay on top and everyone down low equalizes. Very fascinating league.
Yeah, I know you were talking about like the standings overall and how pretty much everyone still has a chance. And
Yeah,
I know we delved in super deep last week with a bunch of random scenarios, and I think everybody's brain was a little rattled. But I think what we were really looking at is that it's crazy that going into week 10, everybody still does have a chance. I think usually we see a couple people that are just clearly out, just trying to avoid the toilet bowl, and at this point there's a whole group trying to avoid the toilet bowl, but that same group could potentially sneak into the playoffs, which is fucking sick.
right.
So shout out to the league, dude. Just a balanced league this year. Everybody's grinding it out. I'm loving the trades. I just feel like the league is flowing, boys. We love 2023 fantasy football, having a great year. Tough loss here for Paul. Bill, doing what Bill needs to do. I love the pickup of Barkley with last week's trade, and his team's looking fucking scary. Got to be honest.
Yeah, Bill's team is looking good indeed. A lot of running back depth there, and great week from CeeDee Lamb. Then your battle, sweating it out against the Morgue. Chargers D almost went the distance. Were you a little nervous last night?
Yeah, like I almost like I said, I wasn't watching actively, but when I checked in and like they had 21, I was like, usually you see the defense starts at 10 points, right?
Right.
Automatic, and then it's like as they give up points, it just drops. So you're like, I'm good. And then it's like I see them at 21 points and I was like, is it even worth me sending a text and then catching some shit from Barry like, "Oh, dude, you're fine. It's Chargers defense," some shit like that. But you know what? It was pretty fucking valid. That's a fucking heartbreaker for Aiden. He was probably watching, just sweating that out as well. Like I didn't watch, but I heard they fell out at the 3 yard line, like almost had another one. Like if they put that to the house, I mean,
Yeah.
I lose. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I kind of lucked out. And also, Gus Edwards, dude, two tutters for me. That was huge. Like everybody performed. So it was just a good week. Devonte Adams, guys, I still got him up here. Just I don't care. 5.4 points. He had a lot of looks. He had a lot of targets. I'm still valuing him high. We shall see moving forward.
In the last matchup, another upset. Trav getting the dub. Um, it's Bellis did not start Puka. Was that? I guess both Rams players didn't do that great. Yeah, I guess like just tough L for Bellis. His boys did not come to play.
Yeah, nobody came to play except for Indiana's defense, dude. If you throw in the Colts D, I mean, it's 20
Ooh.
points. It doesn't quite shift it, but that gets you to 109. At least it
No,
didn't shift it because
119.
that would have been.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
That
That's
might
really
have
tough.
that might have done it.
Oh, baby, that's tough. Quick math on my part, huh? Um, yeah, wow, that's a tough one, but big win for Trav, and now Trav's lined up pretty nicely with the Eagles all being on bye. Although George did just make some moves, which may cover him, but that's going to be the matchup to watch for this week. Is can Trav keep his playoff hopes alive against the Commish?
Yeah. And talking about that and going into the playoffs, I did a deep dive, and in previous years, there have been week 10s where no one has clinched yet, and there have been week 10s where no one has been eliminated yet. But there has never been a week 10 where neither of those two things has happened. Someone has broken free and been way out ahead. Someone has fallen out and are out of the playoffs. Last week we did this whole big playoff thing because their people might not have been out, and I didn't update these numbers. This is just it from last week. I think the numbers got closer. The people that were projected to be locked in got less likely because they got the loss, or other people below. Basically, all the people underneath rose up. Everyone stayed stagnant. Wild stuff. Never seen anything like this in a league seating before.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I think I have more faith in Trav than I do in Aiden's team at this point. I'm sorry, Aiden. I think you should change your team name back to Jagganoff. Although to be noted, he does have Debo and Montgomery coming back this week. Potentially, they're both questionable, but I think they're back. But I think I like Trav's team, man. I like his schedule the rest of the year. There's a chance that Trav
Yeah.
sneaks in.
So week 9, we had everything locked in. If we go right now based on the current projections and we realize that Billy does not have a quarterback set right now, we kind of estimated and have it as Fuller, but and George has all the Eagle buys, so it was, I think, projected Travis. But going through and having chalk based on what happened, when I say chalk, I'm just whoever is currently winning, I continue to give them win. Unfortunately for George, Sean, Tyrell, and Barry have outscored you, so kind of have the death schedule. But based on those current ones, what it would look like, we would have Barry and Tyrell sneaking in as the 2-1 seeds. VJ, so he must have tough schedule
Because he
coming up.
has to face Barry this week.
Why
That's
why
why,
does Bellis have to win
probably.
here though?
Sneaky, sneaky.
Typo. VJ. Let's quick update
Damn,
that. Maybe that.
they still get Trav at just 4-10. That's foul. That's foul. Trav, I got faith in you, buddy. I feel this. I feel
Trav
you sneaking in,
has
dude.
Fuller. He's got
He's got Paul week
Paul.
11, dude. Trav could get that.
Give
I'm gonna peep the buys. I'm gonna peep the buys week
we'll
11.
give
Let's
we'll
just
give
see what
Trav the
Trav's
nod
working.
there.
I'm gonna take a peek. I got faith in Trav, man. This is the long shot horse that might make it in. Let's see.
What is this?
Week
Yeah.
11, he's got Stevenson on a bye. That
Basically,
definitely
everyone is
helps.
still in it. And everyone is still out. VJ is very. I don't think VJ can get the shotgun. I don't think he can get the worst record. He still could theoretically fall out of contention, but it obviously would take a lot. But I think what it's really going to come down to is, can George stay in with the very tough schedule, and then between George, myself, Fuller, Billy, really honestly, Bellis, Paul, Aiden, and it's everyone in the bottom fighting for those last two spots. And it's like I'm up. Billy and I are up a game on the field, but a game is not a lot. Like if Billy and I both lose and those four win, or can that happen? If we give,
I'm sure anything's
if Fuller
possible, man.
wins, Aiden wins, Paul wins, Bellis wins. Yeah, the way the schedule, none of those guys are playing each other. If everyone at 3-6 wins, which is schedule-wise possible, like you just have this logjam at 4-4. Wild stuff.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I could stare at it all day. We could go down every single scenario, but at the end of the day, everybody's in. Big fucking log jam in the middle. And I mean up top too, like I mean anything's possible there. Like Sean has, let's see, what does Sean have left? He's got Aiden. I know he's got George also. He's got Aiden, Bellis,
Yeah, Aiden, Bellis,
George.
George, Paul, Travis.
Like he could win out, dude. Sean could win this league regular season wise. He could win
Yeah,
out.
that's probably the, again, just based off who has performed so far, the easiest schedule going in.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I like, especially if CJ Stroud is going to play. Like, obviously, he's not going to throw up 470 yards and 5 touchdowns a week. But if the dude's gonna chuck 3 touchdowns a week and get Sean 30 points, if he can get 30 points, like what
So,
Jalen Hurts has been putting up, like
I mean,
Sean
VJ
can be
is
there, man.
VJ's up a game, and Barry has the Tyreek Hill bye. I think Barry's still projected, but
Barry's team's scary. I
very,
think he's
but
they
VJ's up
pulls
a
that.
game. So say he loses to Barry because he's scary. Billy, Aiden, myself, and Bellis. VJ has again outperformed all of us pretty considerably throughout the year, so he could potentially win
Right.
out.
He could win out from that's true.
Barry's team is just a bunch of firecrackers, and again, it's Paul, George, Bellis, Aiden, and VJ's kind of the tough one there. Um, yeah, it's what is your schedule looking like? Do you have the toughest of that group?
I got Bellis, George, and I do have
Yeah,
George
none of you
again.
guys
No, I
really
have
play
George
each
twice.
other. It's crazy. There's Barry
Well, we
and
played early,
VJ.
right?
Yeah. No, you played earlier, but that's what I mean. Is it's kind of like the fact that late in the season, it's not vying for it. It's just it's very interesting the way this is all shaken up for me.
Yeah, and I mean that might just be I maybe we need to look into a schedule change for next year. I know Fuller's after that. He does not want to play you twice. I think you personally would like to not see Travis at all. I don't know if we could work that in to the schedule, but like
Ugh.
just keep it at 1-7 all time. Don't
I
even make
just
it one
need
and eight,
Travis on a different week, maybe. That's what
Maybe
I'm.
that's what it is. Yeah.
That's just my bad week, you know.
It's a bad week. It's always a bad week. You got to draft so that whenever you play Trav, you have no buys.
Nope.
That's next
Just
year's
fuck
strategy.
good matchups. Fuck the playoffs. Trav's match.
Just week 5, whatever week it was. Like,
All right. So moving on to the matchups for next week. Starting off, we've got Barry versus VJ. Is this the right view? Give me one sec.
yeah, it's fine.
It doesn't have the
Yeah,
projection for the
these
players, right?
a couple of top dogs here, like we kind of already kind of discussed. We've got Tyreek Hill on a bye, but Barry's team fills holes like it's nobody's business. So it's still going to be a tight one. I think it's just like can Patty Mahomes and CMC put up 50 points combined? If that's true, VJ wins. That's the formula for success.
Yeah.
Oh, Patty Mahomes is on
He's
a
out.
bye. That's right. So he's
Yeah.
got fucking Sam Howell.
It's
That's
the
kind of tough. Oof.
Mahomes is on bye
Yeah.
and Kelsey is on bye for Barry and Tyreek Hill. Um, so those are two notable losses, and then yeah, it's really just Mahomes on VJ's side. So yeah, I really do think it could come down to either one of them. Again, it's projected right now is I guess it's a 12-point swing, but
Yeah, he's got no tight end in there.
no tight end for
Also, my
Barry, no
dog's about
kicker for
May's about to go
VJ.
nuts.
Yeah. Barry's team is very scary. Okay, going on to match number two, me and Paul. Always a fun matchup. This one is, I think it's looking close. He has to set a defense that's in there. Um, yeah, Paul's team, I think I've been saying it all year, has been scarier than I think I've ever seen in years past. I know I've been trying to, I've sent some trades trying to acquire Kenneth Walker or Joe Mixon, get another stallion that I can
Dude,
play at the flex, but Paul has not budged, and I mean his team's looking good between those two running backs, and then DK Metcalf and DeAndre Hopkins. Like those two guys might not be consistent performers, but boom potential is like a 3 touchdown day.
facts. And he's still got George Kittle that he can throw in instead of Gerald Everett. But yeah, man, I fucking tried all year, dude. Probably 5 weeks at least trying to get Joe Mixon from this kid, and he just I don't know. He just like phone was on D&D. He just didn't give a fuck. He's just busy. Like I don't know what he's doing. Shotgunning beers, being out on the boat, banging chicks. I don't know what he's doing down there, but he's not checking trades. I do know that. And he kept Joe Mixon, and Mixon is starting to pop off. So respect to Paul for just sticking with the team he drafted for the most part. Big week though. Yeah, this is a big week for both of you guys to kind of go to 500, right?
Yeah, who did he get for Tyreek Hill from Barry?
Um, that is a great question. Maybe
Was it
Kenneth Walker? Did
Mixon?
he not have Kenneth Walker? No, he had Mixon for sure. Because I've been after Mixon for literal weeks. Well, I guess I could see if I click on Mixon. I'll see if he drafted him. Actually, you're right. Okay, he did get him. That was October 6th.
Yeah, so
He
he's going to
did.
be high on Mixon if he moved Hill
It
for
was
him.
Mixon, DK Metcalf, and
And
DeAndre Hopkins
Hopkins,
for
who's they've
Tyreek
been
Hill and
nuts.
Lockett. Yeah,
So yeah, good trade
yeah,
on Paul's part there, I think.
was a good trade. Yeah.
All right. So next up, we've got Fuller and Billy. I feel like this is just another classic matchup. Um, I remember I
Yeah.
was looking at the archives, and there was the one year where like Fuller was small ball sack Billy, and Billy was like Fuller's Matty Ryan Fuller sucks or something, and it's like it was just so confusing because I'm trying to do all these spreadsheets of like wins and whatnot, and it's like, oh, the team named Billy is not actually Billy's team. That's
Billy
Fuller's team
Smallnuts was what
or
it was, I
George's
believe.
team who was in the mix.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Billy Smallnuts, I believe is what it was called.
that was it. And yeah, Billy's got the Eagles bye is hurting him as well with Jalen Hurts out. He's gonna have to find who's his defense. Oh, he just hasn't set one yet. Yeah. Yeah. So Bill is gonna have to figure out who he's playing, but Fuller is back and needing to win. He's got who's his QB on bye? Two is on bye and Waddle's on bye. That checks out. And he picked up Kyler Murray a little bit ago. Nice little snipe, stashing him, keeping him in the back pocket for this week. And then Etienne is back, so he's gonna be looking for a big performance from him. And the next matchup, we've got Sean and Aiden, and very close one here. Looking like Mostert on bye, that'll do it, and Sean still has Jefferson on IR. Um, but yeah, I know you were saying Aiden's team might be tough relative to this is not looking like a bad week for Aiden. Very close projected wise, maybe just getting Sean on a down week, but anyone's game. If you're chatting, I think you might have muted.
Said he tuned into your
Okay, all right, all right. You gotta give me 2 minutes, sir.
Drew Pittman said he's tuned in for
Ooh,
10 minutes yesterday.
Okay, that's great.
All right,
All
hold
right,
on.
Stroud to be American. Sorry, I was listening.
no worries.
This is obviously a big matchup for the morgue. Stroud to be American, if he wins this one, could, win out. This could be the start of his 6-0 to end the season, but 5-0, whatever we have left. If how many weeks we have left? 15, 14 weeks?
I think it's 14 weeks,
14.
and then 3 weeks of
So
playoffs, and
five
the
more.
season is 18. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this is obviously a big matchup, but we'll see. We'll see if the morgue can revive people from the dead, David Montgomery and Debo. So
And then it's you and Bellis, and this
Sorry,
another
Jack.
again close looking matchup. And is anyone notable on the bench or bye? You thinking of throwing Jameer Gibbs in?
I'm thinking about it, but I'm not
Derrick
positive
Henry
yet.
and Gus Edwards are two guys.
Well, yeah, like those are the two guys. You know what I mean? But I'm looking at the flex. I'm looking at Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. I kind of like the matchup against Atlanta, and Kyler's back, so I'm kind of like I'm on the fence. I do think Gibbs is going to boom this week, and I think like why did I trade for him if I'm not going to play him? But Montgomery is back. I don't know. I don't know what that situation is going to look like with the Lions, but it is going to be a high scoring affair with the
Oh,
Chargers.
that's right.
So
Montgomery's back. I forgot about that.
yeah, so it was a very fair trade for Fuller and I, and we kind of went back and forth, and I was like, I do think Gibbs is coming off a couple of good weeks. I think he's got a lot of upside, but you're still dealing with Montgomery there. And trade deadline's passed, so they're both going to be committee still. I think Gibbs has shown he's better, but when Montgomery's there, he fucking puts up numbers and he scores touchdowns. So it's like you can't not play him.
And so,
So it's a tough one. And then, Fuller was hesitant, obviously, with James Cook because still a big names guy, Lenny Fournette, got signed to go there, whatever. And they still have Latavius Murray. So he's nervous about those three guys. I don't know what's going on with Leonard Fournette. I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know if he's just going to take Latavius Murray's spot. I don't fucking know because James Cook's played very well. He's not scoring touchdowns, but he's putting up numbers. But yeah, that trade, looking at Jake Ferguson on the bench, I might have to throw him in the flex if he's going to keep
so
putting up these numbers like this.
talking about the trades, I think the loser on the George Bellis trade is you, because Bellis shipped out Cup and Pacheco, who are both on bye, and
That's
Bellis needs
true.
wins now. So you're saying that you think George went out on the trade. I think you're probably right that long term, it's a good
Yeah,
trade for George. This week, he's getting two guys on bye. But
right.
Bellis needs the win now to kind of stay in contention. So he is getting. So he'll start instead of, I guess,
Instead
Aaron
of Dalton,
Jones, Brees
he's
Hall,
gonna get
and
to
then.
start Tony Pollard, bro. Dude, he's got Aaron Jones, Brees Hall, and Tony Pollard. That is a scary big three running back core.
Yeah. I love that
Yeah,
he's running the double tight end right now.
yeah.
Might have
I
talked
mean,
Bellis in the
it's a
tight end
power play for
negotiation.
sure.
He needs receivers. I gotta make a move.
Got to make a move,
All
but he's
right.
about to plug and play. I mean, he's gonna have three running backs, dude. He's gonna have
Yeah,
fucking
this new
Tony Pollard in
stable.
a flex. That's crazy. So yeah, this is not a guaranteed win for me. Last week was supposed to be guaranteed, and it was kind of sketchy. So I'm happy I pulled that out, or else I'd be in kind of must-win mode here. But
Anything can
should be a good
happen.
matchup.
And then the final matchup, the Commish and Trav. And you know what? Again, kind of looking at that trade, we were talking last week how George has all the Eagles players on bye, and like the few guys that he doesn't have on bye, he shipped off for more
He
players.
just
So
took the L
he's
this
just
week. Yeah,
taking the
it's a
full rip the band-aid off, and I honestly love it. I try
yeah,
to do that on my team and just have a week that you know you're gonna lose and just get all your buys out of the way. And George is at 6-3, so he can kind of afford to do it. Loses, he's at
yeah,
6-4, and that's still a full game on anyone. Best
yeah.
case
And
is Bill and I
then
win,
you got
and
everybody that's already had their buy too. That's what
right.
Barry and I were in some trade talks today actually, and thinking of moving Kamara, and we were talking Kamara and Derrick Henry, and at the end of the day, I backed out because Kamara's got a bye week coming up, and I'm like, you know what, Derrick Henry's already had. I've already dealt with all my bye issues. Like I've got week 13 is my next big one, but like I'm pretty good. Like I don't really want to deal with any more shifting. Like I want to ride my team out that's already had their buys, not have to worry about
So
this shit. So yeah, good move by the commish, man. That's a vet move.
So when I do the buy thing, it's always great because you're not likely to win, but there's a chance when you throw in some bad person that they just have a career day, right? Like one guy just goes for like two touchdowns and he has two touchdowns in his career after those two.
Right.
Uh, I I have never seen a rip the band-aid off this aggressive. I wonder if he doesn't play people. Like I don't think you can have a full bench of bye players and enough players to play. I wonder if he just has players on bye in the roster or
He
a
might
mixer.
have to. Yeah, he
Yeah.
actually might have to.
Um
Unless they moved Goddard to IR and then or out so he can move him to that spot, that might free up one more. But yeah, he's banged up. I think it's a good move, dude. It's a vet
cuz
move.
he's
I
got
respect
AJ
it.
Brown, Goddard, Swift. He's then going to have Cup and Pacheco. And then I can't imagine like I guess he's got two kickers. He probably drops a kicker. It's going to be
I don't
tight.
know.
It's going to be tight.
George doesn't like to drop kickers, defense, or tight ends. He likes to hang on to those three things. It's a bold move, but he's a big special
Tight end
teams
at the
guy.
flex?
Yeah. Can you throw a kicker at the flex? Is that
Not a
legal?
kicker or defense, but you could do a tight end.
Yeah. I know he'd rock a
I know, I
double tight
thought
end
about
for
it.
sure.
I've looked into it.
I thought about it.
I've definitely,
Young Ho Koo had 19 for me this week. It actually single handedly secured me the win. So
I feel like some kickers are a lock for like 8, which isn't a high upside, but like if you need a wide receiver that just isn't gonna goose egg, I'd take a kicker.
I take a kicker.
All right,
Kickers win chips.
that is the recap for week 9. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. And again, we don't have the DraftKings bet. If you skip to the end just to see what absolutely disgusting parlay we've cooked up, it's this time it's at the front. So hope everyone gets a lot of touchdowns and points, except for Paul. Sorry, gotta get these wins where I can get them.
Love it. Have a
All
good
right,
week, everybody.
signing off.